say here on the show, don't we, that there's truly nothing new. And that's really what I find interesting about the golden age of Hollywood. It's one of my topics that I do enjoy, and I love sharing it with you, particularly by the people that I've been lucky enough to meet during this wonderful career in showbiz. As I say, I have been fortunate. I've met the likes of Tony Curtis, Mickey Rooney, Debbie Reynolds, so many more. Really what I call the more modern ones like Sylvester Stallone, Jack Lemmon, of course, the director Billy Wilder. I could go on for ages. And I like that particular period because it just shows exactly how they molded ordinary people into superstars. There was one, way back in the 1930s that truly was unique, started it all, really paved the way for the likes of Mamie Van Doren, Cherie North, Jane Mansfield, Marilyn Monroe. In fact, Marilyn apparently cited this particular lady as someone that she greatly admired and emulated on many different fronts. Of course, there's been raining sex bombs throughout the history of the golden age of Hollywood. Many beautiful women, including Betty Grable, Ginger Rogers, just to name a few. My particular favourite, brilliantly talented Mitzi Gaynor, another one that was really vastly underused. But what a talent. Now, it's interesting to note that there's going to be a reissue, revitalised, revamped book on the true first blonde of Hollywood, MGM's Jean Harlow. It's called Harlow in Hollywood. And as I said, I was lucky enough to meet quite a few people, including Billy Wilder and Mickey Rooney, who told me all about her. And apparently, like many different people, she wasn't the image at all that one would imagine. In fact, it was all down to the fact that her mother truly wanted to become a movie star and pushed Jean forward. She started out in slapstick roles and then, of course, became the vamp with the platinum blonde hair. Very racy indeed, when you think about the time. What's interesting also, I didn't realise until looking further into her career, although we sadly lost her at a very tragically young age, she'd also written a novel which was deemed that racy in the 1930s. It was never published until the mid-60s. All of that will be included, as I say, in this brand new sort of book, retrospective, looking at her unique talent. Mickey Rooney told me, though, that she was very, very down to earth, didn't necessarily mind playing up the vamp role, a sex symbol role, but really had sort of aspirations to become a writer, producer, director, again, breaking a lot of boundaries. And when you think about that, you can see the similarities to the late also Marilyn Monroe, who set up her own production company to make movies like The Prince and the Showgirl alongside Milton H. Green. So once again, when you look back at people, we often think, don't we, what did they do? And also for certain generations, they are forgotten simply because they're just not in their era. As I say, we lost Jean in the mid-1930s, very, very young, way too early. And I don't know if you know this, but this is Hollywood for you. On her very last movie, they had what they call enough footage to make the movie work. But studio boss Louis B. Mayer decided to use a stand-in and film from the back in order to complete the movie. Of course, naturally, when released into the cinemas, lots of people wanted to go and see the very final movie of Jean Harlow, proving, of course, that you're only worth what you're worth at the box office, no matter who you are. If you are a fan of the golden age of Hollywood, look out for that particular book. As I often say on the show, I'm not associated, I'm not endorsing it. I'm simply just telling you that I was lucky enough to meet many people who were also lucky enough to witness the true unique talent of Hollywood's original blonde bombshell, Jean Harlow. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.